I'd like to ask the Minister for Infrastructure why it was decided to remove the emergency housing requirement as a discretionary criterion from the housing allocation criteria.
The Minister for Infrastructure, Mr Harmer.
Mr President, the emergency housing points have not been removed and remain in the new access and eligibility criteria agreed by this Court last month. They now form part of the high awards available for a range of health or welfare circumstances, which include emergency housing issues. The new criteria now has a maximum of 50 points available compared to the 20 previously available.
Supplementary, Mr Hooper.
Unfortunately, Mr President, the Minister is incorrect there. The original general needs housing criteria for acceptance onto the waiting list in the first instance included a discretionary ability to allow someone onto the list where they had an emergency housing requirement. That level of discretion has been removed. An individual now must meet all of the criteria that exist within the new allocation policy that was approved by Tynwald. So the question goes back to the Minister: why did they remove this discretionary criteria from enabling people to get onto the waiting list where they have an emergency housing need? I'd like an answer to the question that was asked.
Thank you. I'm not aware of that. As I said, the points, there are now more points, it's more discretionary, but I will distribute an answer to the member.
Mr Hooper.
Thank you, Mr President. I'm sure I must have misheard the Minister there. He said he's not aware of the change in policy that he brought to Tynwald last month and asked us to approve. Can the Minister just absolutely clarify that he was fully informed in that policy development, he was fully supportive of elements in that policy, and he did fully understand the implications of the policy when he brought it to Tynwald? If he did, he should be able to answer this very straightforward question: why that policy decision was made.
Mr Harmer.
I don't have the same interpretation as the honourable member. If you have there is still a discretionary emergency allocation, and as far as I'm concerned, that is now much better than it was before. As I said last month, it's much more based on need rather than just being on the list.
Thank you, Mr President. If the Minister is absolutely satisfied that the ability of someone to get onto the list in the first instance, not points allocation here, Minister, the ability to get onto the waiting list, criteria for acceptance onto that waiting list, if he is absolutely convinced that the discretion exists in respect of emergency housing, could you please point to the section in the regulations that he brought to Tynwald last month that allows this to happen? Because it is not there.
Minister.
Thank you. That's not my view, but I'm happily will distribute where the regulations are and that advice, and will provide that.